So in the times that Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, walked on this earth, he was on this earth in flesh form. He was both loved by many and he was hated by many. Part of the reason why he was hated was because he came against, his message came against the established order of society, of the way that things were presented, the way that everybody functioned under the rules and regulations that the so-called religious leadership at that time, which was just as good as saying law of man, had in place. And he was hated. He was hated for coming against telling the truth to the establishment. A lot of folks hated him. A lot of religious figures hated him because everything that he spoke as truth, as being the truth, because he is the Son of the omnipotent Creator. He is the Son of the Father of all creation. What he was speaking came against their way of life and everything that they held as truth, everything that they held as meaningful, as a way of living their lives, as a way of a means of sustainability, a means of maintaining their power. So they hated him because everything that he came saying went against that safety that they had in the set ways, their ways of doing things. So the egotistic stance, it's not to say that, again guys, he came to die for all of us. It is in the holy text that it is explained that he died. He willingly gave up his life as a blueprint to show everyone, as a payment for everyone's sins. He literally died to show the ultimate power of the love that the Father has for all of us. He died for the ones that praised him just as much as the ones that nailed him to that stake. Equally, he died equally for all of us, right? And he had to show us the ultimate show of what that represents. And that is to willingly, knowing all truth, walking in, being innocent, walking through that path of hatred, of being hated upon, being humiliated, being misunderstood. He said, nevertheless, it doesn't matter whether you get this now or you get this later. I'm going to show you the ultimate show of perfect love. And that's why he did it. He did it because he needed to show He needed to show all of us that perfect example. So you see, Jesus was hated in those days because he spoke truth. And the truth upsets the standard of the way that man want to live their lives as sinful flesh that we are. Today is no different. Today you have men that want to misconstrue, taint, and misdirect the message of Jesus Christ, trying to take Jesus back to the medieval times, trying to somehow match up the sacrifice of pure, perfect love that Christ showed us all the way to his last breath. They're trying to match that up with the acts of the Old Testament, the acts of the old days. They tell you that, oh, he didn't come to abolish the law, he came to fulfill it. And therefore, because he came to fulfill the law, this is the law as it was given to Moses and Moses gave to us. Right? And it's correct. Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, came to fulfill the law. But even Moses speaks of one to come that the Father gave to him to speak to us, saying that there is one to come after me. Many of the prophets speak of Yeshua HaMashiach. There is one that's coming after us. And I'm paraphrasing, but if you scrutinize the word long enough, you know that this is true. There is one to come after us that is preferred above us. And that was Yeshua HaMashiach. And that is Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. So, you see, when people are speaking the words and the messages of Christ, and they are rejected, when you are truly speaking the love of Christ and you are rejected, they're not rejecting, this is also text, okay? They're not rejecting, these are Jesus' words too, by the way. They're not rejecting you, they're rejecting the one that sent you. They're rejecting the very true Christ, the one that they say to serve. Because with their lips they're saying his name, that they serve his name. But with their actions, they're saying something else. When folks come showing you the actions and giving you the fruits and telling you what Yeshua was saying, and they are rejected and pushed aside, and they're trying to skew the message of Christ and ridicule the messenger that's bringing you the message. What they're really saying is, we don't accept Christ. We don't know this Christ you speak of. We rather worship our version of our created idol of the Christ that we invented. We don't truly want the truth that Christ brought. We don't truly acknowledge who Christ, this Christ you speak of. When you are speaking of the same things, when you are literally quoting the same things that Christ said. You see? When I come out here on record and I speak against the indoctrination, for example, of law enforcement, when I speak against the indoctrination of law enforcement, I'm not coming against the flesh. I'm not coming against the flesh that is being manipulated and being utilized as a tool to manifest the sinful nature of those practices that 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 the flesh themselves are unaware of. When I speak against the indoctrination of law enforcement, I'm speaking against exactly that, the strongholds and principalities. I'm not speaking against my brethren. I'm not speaking against my neighbor. We're all flesh. I'm speaking against the principality, against the strongholds, the ideologies that we have all fallen victims to, that somehow allows you or entice you to believe that we are enemies, because I don't believe that what you're following is righteous, or what you're practicing is righteousness. You see? Jesus was penalized for the same thing. And if we claim that Christ is the truth, He's the truth, the way, and the life, back to our Creator, right? But He was crucified or nailed to that stake for the same thing, for speaking to the authorities the truth. Not because He hated those that practice the wrongful indoctrination, but because He loved the truth. He loved us so much that the Father didn't want us to die in that lie. So He bravely gave us the truth, gave them the truth, even though He knew that they would persecute Him for it. You see? Not because He hated those that were practicing lawlessness, but because He loved them enough not to let them perish in the lie. Okay? I do not hate anyone that practice anything. I don't hate the flesh. I am flesh. I don't hate my neighbor, because my neighbor is blind, and my neighbor, being a sinful creature, does not know that what he's paying attention to is lawlessness in front of the eyes of the omnipotent Creator. No, my Creator loves my neighbor, and my Redeemer calls me, commands me to love my neighbor even in his sin. So I don't hate my neighbor. I have had to submit and humble myself to this reality, because our flesh resists the truth. I love my neighbor. I love my brethren. I have learned, and I am continuously in the process of learning how to love my enemy, because this is what Yeshua HaMashiach commands me to. You understand? So when I say the things that I say, the enemy will whisper in the ears of those candidates when word gets to them, as if I am the enemy. And what they don't understand is that they don't hate me, they hate the truth. Their flesh hates the truth that's coming from me. Not because I am perfect, not because I am Jesus Christ, but because the words that I speak come from Him. And their flesh rejects it, just as once I rejected the same words. Right? So that's just a little public service announcement. Remember, there is a difference between the Christ who walked this earth in spirit and truth, in a physical form, that came to bring truth and died for it, and the Christ that we made up, or we chose to subscribe to from our favorite pastor and our favorite religious figure that sold it to us for the sake of a dollar sign. There is a difference in those two. Jesus Christ didn't come to sell us a business or a religion. Jesus Christ came to liberate our minds, to liberate our souls from the shackles of the lies that have caused us to fall short of the Father's glory. Yeshua HaMashiach is the blueprint back to the Creator. And the battle's all up here in the mind. From the moment you open your eyes to the moment you close them. It is a constant battle for your mind. So, may I continue to remind you that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against strongholds and principalities in high places. These are ancient, very old spirits, not the Father's Spirit, that come against the truth of the only one that came, made himself flesh, willingly gave up everything in this life, died, resurrected, and ascended, so that you and I may have the opportunity of witnessing the example to get back to the righteous sight of our Creator. So, bless you guys.